Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah and I wanted to welcome all of you to another installment of Monologue Monday here on my YouTube channel. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for tuning back in, and as always I hope you can take something away from this video as well. With all of that being said, let's get into this installment of Monologue Monday. So for this episode of Monologue Monday, I wanted to share some of my thoughts as to what I think the biggest reasons are that there is unhappiness here in the United States amongst many individuals. This video isn't necessarily going to be about how we can fix all of these unhappiness related issues, because frankly the video would just be too long. But I do want to use this time to kind of share my thoughts as to what I believe some of the biggest issues that contribute to unhappiness are. One of the first reasons why I think a lot of individuals might consider themselves, unhappy on a day-to-day basis, whether they realize it or not, and this is the point of this channel, right? Our finances. We all know, and this is what the foundation of my channel is really oriented on, is personal finance and how difficult it really is to get ahead in life currently, and to have the freedom to be able to pursue a lot of different endeavors. And I think this really catches up with people, right? I think the economic instability on an individual and family basis in the United States is something that has been talked about for years and years and years. And of course, with this being election season, right? Election is like the 3 weeks away, I don't know, 4 weeks away at this point. This is all everybody talks about, right? We're going to make people rich. We're going to strengthen the middle class. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Whether it's going to happen is to be determined, right? TBD. We don't know. But this is something that I think a lot of people, and like I said, I did preface this with whether they realize it or not, because some of the issues that people might attribute to making them unhappy, they may not realize that having a little bit of extra money might solve that issue, right? And one of the most simple examples that I can kind of think of are related to personal freedom, right? Having the ability to pursue things that you want to do, right? And we all know that doing things in the United States and around the world costs money, right? It costs money just to go outside and contribute, right? It costs money to work, and so on and so forth. And whether you might not realize it, right? But not being able to pursue personal interest, hobbies, different endeavors, traveling, and so on, might be contributing to a lot of unhappiness that you might have. And that could be resolved, right, to a certain extent, if you would have a little bit of extra money laying around to pursue, all of these different creative endeavors alike. And of course, issues related to finance go so much deeper than that, right? If you want to take it to the next step, where you have a family dynamic, right? So you have a husband and wife, maybe one is working, maybe both are working, and then you have a kid, maybe. That's only going to increase the burden, right? Childcare, wanting to provide different things for the family, wanting to still kind of take care of your own interest, wanting to take care of your children's interest, and so on and so forth. The money just doesn't appear out of nowhere, right? I mean, you could rob people, you could rob a bank, or you could start, selling drugs. I don't know, but and people do resort to that, honestly. Maybe not the bank part, but selling drugs, I think people might resort to that to try to get ahead, right? Because, even working, many hours a week, if you're an hourly employee, I know a lot of people that work 60, 70 hours a week. And, at the end of the year, they still have a decent chunk, right? A decent chunk of change. But then taxes come in, right? Destroy it. And then you look at your life in general and you're thinking, I work 10 hours a day. What am I doing with my life? So it's a very difficult topic. We could talk about it, or I guess I could talk about it, because I'm talking to myself really right now about these issues all the time. And I do think out loud about these kind of issues, and what might be able to be done, and if it's ever going to be done, and most importantly, what I can do to not only try to better my own personal personal standing, but better other people's standings, right? By example, right? And this is really what my channel is rooted in, is trying to see what's worked for me, see what's really made me get on the right track, be a better person, and so on, and hopefully motivate other people to do the same, to feel kind of how I'm feeling about personal finances as a whole. But it is a battle, right? So we're going to keep pushing and keep trying to get people better with their personal finances. The second reason why I think a lot of individuals might be unhappy in their life here in the United States, at least, is safety. And I intend on making some different videos about this in the near future here. But I think one of the main things that other countries have an advantage over the United States, I'm not saying every country, right? I'm not saying like North Korea or China, but other countries where the incomes are not as high as the United States, but or they're very, very similar, but the safety for on a per capita basis is far, far lower, right? So people can go outside of their house at any time of the day with whoever they want and still feel very, very secure. They have this sense of safety, and I think that's something that kind of escapes us a little bit, right? It kind of sits in the back of our mind, and we just hope it doesn't happen until something does happen to ourselves or one of our loved ones or one of our friends, and then we start to realize how messed up the safety can be, right? These issues of safety, whether they be automobile accidents, whether it be gun violence, or a lot of different things, right? There's a lot of different ways that our safety can kind of be questioned here in this country. And there is, there are safety concerns in every single country, right? No country is perfect, but some are better than others, right? So I think that's another reason why people might feel a little bit unhappy within life, is because, sending your kids off to school, for example, and having this constant thought of, what if it were my child's school that was the next one on the list, right, or something like that. I obviously don't want to get grim with it or anything, but I think these are real concerns that a lot of parents and a lot of individuals, even like myself, have on a day-to-day basis. The third reason why I think a lot of individuals might be unhappy on a day-to-day basis is personal health, right? I just talked about personal safety, and how we want to feel safe in our own environment, in our house, in our neighborhood, in our state, and so on. And we want to feel good in our own bodies as well. And that it has been, I'm by no means any kind of dietitian or nutritionist or anything like that, but I definitely have this sense of comparison when I've lived in other countries. I've experienced a very dynamic diet, very dynamic dietary schedules, and when certain things are eaten and so on. So I have a little bit of experience in that, and I can say from hands-on experience, I do feel like here in the United States, the quality of food that comes out of schools, of restaurants, and even out of stores, grocery stores, where we get the food, quote unquote fresh, is not quite there, right? And I don't think our education system does a adequate job at really teaching young individuals of what a well-balanced diet is, what foods are going to make you healthy, strong, and be around a long time. What foods are going to contribute to your mental health. We know from research that our diet is directly correlated to our mental well-being. I'm pretty sure there's quite a bit of research done on that at this point, but that's not really taught about, right, in school. I remember being in my home ec class, some years ago. I mean, some years ago at this point, but we were making like calzones and homemade pizza and like a marshmallow sundae. I don't know, but I compare that to some of the home ec classes that I've had in another country, in Japan, and it is unbelievable how different they are. I mean, it is unbelievable the type of we were making basically full course meals, right? So we would have our starter, our salad, our main dish, our carb, our protein, and put it all together. I mean, unbelievable, right? And school lunches are the same thing. School lunches in Japan are made fresh every single day, and they're brought in fresh, warm. They're brought in on a truck, warm, and then the kids serve them to each other and so on. Um, in the United States, I think a lot of it is, pick it out of the freezer, put it in the oven, put it in the fryer, microwave it maybe, but it goes so much deeper than that, right? Our relationship with food, I think, here in the United States is a reason why I think a lot of individuals feel unhappy, is because the food that they're putting in, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And now that we know that our diet does relate to our mental well-being, it only makes sense, right? That if our diet is bad, we're not going to be mentally healthy, mentally stable as well, either. The fourth reason why I think a lot of individuals might be unhappy is the amount of stimuli, digital stimuli, marketing stimuli, everything technology based that we have here in the United States. Ads, all of that stuff. It's just constantly in our face, and this is what companies like Google, like Facebook, this is how they make a huge percentage of their revenue, right? Is by ads, right? Companies paying them to throw these ads in front of our face and make us watch them, no matter what. They're on Netflix, they're on Amazon, they're on Hulu, right? I think I was watching a movie on Amazon or a show or something at some point, or maybe it was HBO even, so I had the subscription for the service, right? And I was still watching 3 ads per episode that were like a minute and a half long, even though I was paying for it, right? So there is no holding back. And I think this is a smaller reason on my list that I've kind of gone over thus far. But I do believe that the amount of this stimuli of forcing things in our face, forcing us to listen to things, forcing us to watch things, forcing us to be involved with different things, skipping ads, and I mean, especially now with election season, like I said, the amount of unskippable ads makes me sick, and I think it does actually make me quite unhappy as well. But I think this is another reason where being kind of out away from any kind of connection, any kind of ad, any kind of sign, any kind of piece of paper that has, that's trying to promote you to spend money on a service or anything like that. Getting away from that is really, really important for all of us. And I think it's a big contributor, this stimuli, digital stimuli, forcing things in front of our face that do contribute slightly to unhappiness as well. Another reason why I think a lot of people might be unhappy is very called for. As I said, it is election season, right? Elections are coming very, very soon. That's all, we hear about on the news. That's all we hear about on Reddit, on YouTube, all of the drama between the two candidates, the two parties, all of that kind of stuff. But I think kind of relating to this is this sense of divide that we have amongst our country, right? We're supposed to be, right, ideally, we're supposed to have a very unified vision. And although we might not all have the same belief systems and the same hobbies and the same taste in video games, right, or the same taste in media or art or anything like that, or sports, right, sports teams, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people want to be able to move forward as one, right, have very similar goals for the United States of America, or their country, whichever it is. And so we can kind of have a sense of unity amongst everybody, right? You can go to the majority of people and have very similar aspirations on what it means to be a good citizen, and so on and so forth. But the way things are right now is that you've got a 50-50 shot of running into someone that is with you or someone that is against you. And I think this divide, and I mean, this is a conversation that could go on forever too. This divide amongst our country between red and blue, Republican, Democrat, whatever. I mean, I personally don't care. I think this does contribute quite a bit to people's happiness, right? Because like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm the only one that sits here and thinks, well, why does this like red or blue, yeah, why is it black or white, why does this mindset still exist? We should at this point of everything that humans have been through, um over the years, right? All of the wars, all of the tribulations, all of everything, why can't we have the same goal, right? Of making people feel a sense of belonging, right? Making people feel important, making people feel smart, right? Making people feel beautiful, and so on. And I don't know. Especially with election season coming up, I really sense this divide amongst people, and I think it can contribute to a lot of people's unhappiness, and it might be a subconscious thing too, where you're not directly thinking about this might be making me unhappy or upset or aggravated or anxious or anything like that. It just generally tends to happen. So I thought I would mention that example in here as well. The last reason I want to bring up in this episode of Monologue Monday is this idea of comparison, right? Nowadays, I think everything gets compared to everything, right? And this is really been augmented by social media, right? By YouTube, by the internet, by Instagram, by Facebook, everything, right? Because everything becomes a comparison game, and it's always people comparing, their stuff to another person's stuff, the way that they look to how someone else looks, someone that they've never even met before, right? And it becomes this game of, who's got the best stuff, who's got this, who wears that, who can do this, who can do that, and it is kind of an interesting topic, I think, because there are certain aspects of social media and so on that are addictive in nature, right? There's data scientists that have researched what makes applications addictive, and how to keep people using, right? How to keep people scrolling, and this is how the YouTube does something similar. But for a lot of social media, it becomes these comparison games, right? So we start comparing ourselves to other people that we have never met and will never meet in our entire life. We will never meet them. We will never talk to them, and this gets people down, right? Because they get upset about the life that they're living because they're looking at someone else's life, and that may not even be a real life to begin with, right? So this is just another reason why I think people might, not consider this to be a reason as to why they're unhappy, but it just happens in the background, right? It happens on the back end, where these comparisons make them feel less of a person, right? Less of a family, less of an individual, less of a professional, and so on and so forth. So that was the last example that I wanted to bring up, but I certainly don't think it's the least important. But there you go. Those are a few examples as to why I think there are many, many individuals that are unhappy on a day-to-day basis here in the United States. As always, I want to hear from the viewers as well. If you have any other examples to share, or if you have any thoughts on my examples, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you've stuck along this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for your time, and I do hope to see you sometime soon.